Have you ever asked yourself why two people can start with the same income, the same opportunities, and even the same lifestyle, yet 10 or 20 years later, one of them is financially secure, confident, and free, while the other is still living paycheck to paycheck, constantly stressed about bills, and quietly asking themselves, where did all my money go? Because the truth is, most people don't fail at building wealth because they are lazy or stupid or unlucky. They fail because they are blind to the invisible financial traps that silently eat away at their money, habits, and mindset without them even realizing it. And this blindness is so subtle that it doesn't show up in school, it doesn't show up in career advice, and it doesn't even show up in the kind of motivational videos people binge online. Because wealth is not destroyed in big, dramatic events like market crashes or sudden expenses. It's destroyed quietly, slowly, and invisibly by what I call the silent leaks. Those hidden forces like lifestyle inflation that makes you spend every raise you ever get, instead of letting it compound. The psychological bias of confusing activity with progress. The obsession with appearing successful on the outside while being hollow on the inside. The unconscious sabotage that comes from copying the habits of the middle class, who are often trapped themselves. The misunderstanding that saving a little consistently is more powerful than earning a lot inconsistently. The failure to recognize that money is not just math, but also emotions, discipline, identity, and deeply ingrained subconscious programming passed down from parents and culture. And what's worse is that many people go their entire lives never realizing they've been following a script written for them by consumerism, by credit card companies, by advertisers, and by a society that benefits when you stay stuck working forever. But what makes this even more tragic is that the real rules of wealth are actually simple, not easy, but simple. Wealth is built not in sudden jackpots, but in small daily choices. It's built not by chasing the next big thing, but by aligning your money with your long-term values. It's built not by reacting emotionally to money, but by creating systems that protect you from your own impulses. And most importantly, wealth is built by intentionally unlearning the lies you've been told. Because the harsh truth is that the average person is unknowingly programming themselves for failure every time they say, "I'll save later." Every time they convince themselves that debt is normal, every time they follow trends instead of principles, and every time they underestimate how powerful compounding really is. But here's the twist. Failure at building wealth doesn't usually feel like failure until it's too late. Because in your 20s and 30s, it feels like you have time. In your 40s, it feels like you're finally making enough to enjoy life. In your 50s, it feels like you'll catch up. And then suddenly you're in your 60s asking how you worked for decades and still ended up with so little. And that's the cruelest part. Most people only realize they failed when it's no longer fixable, when the compounding window has closed, and when energy and health don't allow for starting over. Which is why the real secret is to wake up now, to question the invisible scripts you're living by, to stop treating money as something you'll handle someday, because someday never comes. And to start building not just wealth, but financial wisdom, the kind that frees you from the silent traps everyone else is falling into. Because if you can recognize these patterns early, if you can see what others don't, you'll discover that building wealth isn't about luck, timing, or even high income. It's about awareness, discipline, and playing a game most people don't even know exists. And once you understand this, you'll realize why most people fail at building wealth without realizing it, and why you never have to be one of them.